This video I'm going to try to show you a couple ways to put your hair up. One of them you have seen before, the simple bun. I'm going to try to do it showing you with the hairnet over it. I don't typically wear that myself, but it may be useful for a particular person who needs to see the video. Another way I'm going to use is using barrettes. And let me zoom in real quick to show you the barrettes. Hopefully I'm aiming this correctly. Okay. These are the type of barrettes I'm talking about in a simple ponytail holder. But these metal barrettes don't really break your hair if you find, especially if you find a decent quality one. Sometimes if they're very poor quality, they'll have nicks or burrs on them that might catch, but generally they're good. These longer ones are almost impossible to find anymore. GVS catalog is the only place that I personally know of to find them. And as you can see, I had to put a bend in it to make it hold the thickness of my hair. But if you have really thin hair, you may not need to. Now let me start on the hair. Okay, if you're going to wear the head covering, you really need to anchor your sides back. And the easiest way to do that, you've probably done this before, it's just, I call it pulling my sides back, but maybe call it something else. It really helps give your hair a tautness up top. Now you can do this part with a simple ponytail holder, or you can do it with the barrette. I think the barrette does a better job, but if one does better for you that doesn't hurt your hair or break your hair, go for it. Whatever it is, just whatever it takes. Surely there's something out there, because I know they make those little ouchless ponytail holders. That might be an option too. Now you want that to be a little bit taut, but not so tight that it really pulls and gives you a headache or anything like that. But you want a little firmness right there. And the reason is you can pin your head covering into this a little later into your hair, and it won't break your hair at all. The next step is to simply go ahead and braid your hair. I know if you've got multiple lengths of hair, it may not work as well. But even if you can get the mass of it into the braid, it'll still do a pretty good job. And right now my braid is pretty unevenly. I didn't divide the 3 sections well, but it really won't matter, because it's going to be up and it's going to be covered anyway. And people had to forgive me. I know I'm not the best video maker, the best person to show you this, but I reckon someone has to, even if I do a bad job at it. You don't have to braid absolutely all the way down. As you can see, I've got my pieces kind of uneven. At least I don't know, I assume you can see. You don't even really have to use the ponytail holder. You can kind of go ahead and put it up, but go ahead and use it. It's a little bit extra secure. But again, doesn't have to be all the way down. Now I take my hand and I wrap it around a couple times. I kind of spread my fingers so it's wrapped a little wide, and that's just because of the length of my hair. And I just kind of get it in a long way, because if you wrap it too many times, it's just going to be so thick that your barrette's just not going to hold it. You can also take and braid your hair and put your hair in kind of a bun too. But when you put this through, make sure you're catching those back hairs against your head, and catch a lot of them, because if you catch a couple, it's going to hurt. But if you catch a lot, it'll be fine and it won't break. And that will stay up very securely. Now again, if you've got a problem with little hairs sticking out, the hairnet can be your friend. You just simply wrap it over, make sure it's caught both your top and bottom, and twist it over again. And that will catch and hold a lot of your little hairs in. And you can use a simple bobby pin, whichever color you like. It's just a regular bobby pin like you'd find at Walmart, to kind of keep that hairnet on there. They can show whatever. If you're going to wear head covering, it doesn't matter. And frankly, if you're going to wear your head covering, your fuzzies shouldn't be too bad of an issue, unless it's just really affecting the integrity of the braid or the bun keeping it up. But in general, that works for most people, even people that have a few layers. If you can get your hair up, the variety of head coverings that are open to you is exponentially increased. I won't go over them all right now, but at very least, that's something to consider. I'm going to go ahead and take this back down and show you something else. I'm going to redo the bun again that I had in my other video. And it's really not hard to do, but it does take practice. It took me a little while to get used to it. Now you can leave this particular braid in, and I think I'm going to go ahead and leave it in, but you don't have to. It can go either way. Make sure I have all my hairpins here ready. It should be good. I kind of go ahead and put it into a ponytail when I do this. Again, you can see that braid's still there. It can stay or go, whatever. I start twisting, and you have to twist pretty tightly. But again, it's just something getting the hang of it. Get you a good twist. And one of the most helpful things you can do when you're doing this type of a bun, at least in my opinion, is put you an anchor pin in. Make sure it catches the back part of your hair, and it's going to be too long, but that's okay. As you twist, you're going to kind of fill it in some. And it helps if you're taking your hand and you're kind of pressing a little flat. Put in another anchor. Sometimes you have to kind of feel around for the best place to put it. Where I have that braid in there, I'm not used to that. But frankly, if anything, it'll just make this all more secure. That's a little bit tight. It's catching. It's not going to feel good. And that's one thing to keep in mind, is if something doesn't feel good now, it's not going to feel good later, so fix it now. You don't want it to be tight and pulling on you all day long. Now I've heard a lot of people say, oh, I can't put my hair up with these particular hairpins, I'm not good at it. Well, I wasn't at first either. Believe me, I know. I was terrible at it. It just takes practice. Now, the bun up there is up, and again, if your person has a lot of fuzzies, the hairnet that's your friend, get that over and wrap it over. And then you can simply use more hairpins, bobby pins, whatever you like, and get them on in there, and then you can get that anchored up there. I'm going to go ahead and leave that up. Those are the probably two main ways that you can get your hair up that really don't pull your hair. I think this is probably a little better for not breaking your hair, because I've personally had a lot less hair breakage. The barrette way is a strong second best, and it's probably one of the best, you know, if you are having a really hard time getting used to a bun or something like that. I think it's one of the easiest things to do. The hairnet will really help with the fuzzies, but ultimately, if that still doesn't work, I have another option for you. Before I go on to the next video, one thing I want to show you while my hair's up and taut is with a head covering. Let's see, let me just use this one. And if your hair is taut up here, of course this one I normally just use bobby pins on. I'm going to go ahead and pin